Vacation taken by the GSA on your taxpayer dime is officially out of the door. Remember this guy? Jeff Neely and his crew blew away $800 grand on clowns and mind readers. Now it's not clear whether Neely resigned or got the boot, but he has been asked to reimburse the government for his private in-room party. Time to bring out the panel. Chris Wilson is a Republican pollster in Oklahoma City. Hadley Heath is a senior policy analyst for the Independent Women's Forum in D.C. And Alex Charfen is the CEO of the Charfen Institute in Austin, Texas. Chris, let's start with you. What do you say?
I'd say it's a perfect example of why we don't want the government running health care or anything else. This isn't the case of one bad apple, and while it may be good that he's gone, the fact is this was a system, a government system, that by definition encourages waste and abuse. And while he may be gone, the government's still sitting there wasting millions of our tax dollars every second, and it's just going to continue that way until the entire system is changed.
Hadley.
I agree with Chris. I think spring cleaning is long overdue at the GSA, and this is a good first step. But the root of the problem is really the attitude, the culture, the arrogance that makes you think it's okay to spend $800,000 on a party when so many Americans are just struggling to get by.
Yeah, we're looking at pictures right now of, Neely on vacation with his wife at the taxpayer's expense. Alex, what do you say?
You know, I tend to agree 100%. The spending that was done was in 2010. Millions of homeowners had lost their home, and it was in Las Vegas, in Nevada, in one of the hardest hit states in the country, and we spent $800,000 on a conference. I own a conference company. I can tell you $800,000 is over the top for any conference, no matter what you're doing. And why are taxpayers paying for alcohol for GSA employees? It's ridiculous at every angle.
I agree. Well, Alex, you look like you're almost in a closet. It's dark behind you. We'll have to try to fix that. Okay. Moving on, Lehman Brothers may soon get off scot-free, and an internal memo from the SEC states their investigation is over and charges will likely not be recommended. Alex, that means, you know, the whole mortgage meltdown, the whole blow-up on Wall Street came and it went. Nobody went to jail. Nobody paid the price. What do you say?
You know, I don't know that this is any surprise. The millions and millions of homeowners, I think at this point 14 million American homeowners have lost their homes, and the total number of people that have been prosecuted, 0. However, homeowners have been prosecuted because they didn't understand the mortgage applications that they made. So really, this is another case where government or where companies get away with doing something to the average American, where we really need a major correction here.
Good point. Hadley.
You know, I hope the SEC, in any case, will come down really hard on anyone, anywhere they've found for sure that there's proof of criminal activity, if someone's been cooking the books, who's been doing it. Because, frankly, when they don't enforce the regulations that are already in the law, they tempt people in Congress, they tempt this White House to come up with new regulations. They think that more regulations on the books is going to solve the problem.
Very good point, Chris.
Well, Hadley's exactly right about if there was criminal activity here, they should be prosecuted. But I don't know, and really no one on this panel knows, whether or not there was criminal activity, and we won't unless we're able to see every piece of evidence involved. And I think the challenge is again, to Hadley's point, is that now you've got Congress and certainly a lot of members of the Democratic Party that almost want to prosecute the leaders of Lehman Brothers as if there were crimes against the state. It's almost like a Soviet-era factory manager that didn't meet quota. And until we know there are crimes committed here, then it's ridiculous for us to say that someone should be prosecuted.
You make a good point. Let's talk about the student loans. The interest rate on those loans set to double on July 1st, and yet the Senate has rejected plans from both sides of the aisle that would prevent the increase. Hadley, what do you say?
You know, I have a lot of friends who are struggling to pay back their student loans, and I think it's really sad that at this point, student loans rates, like so many other things in our economy, are caught up in political gridlock, and this clearly points to the fact that government has no business in the student loans industry. As soon as they bring that in under their purview, then Congress goes back to arguing about what exactly should this rate be, leaving a lot of people uncertain about how they're going to pay these things back.
Alex, what do you say?
You know, I disagree. I think we do need a student loan program. I think a well-managed student loan program is critical to the United States. I have a lot of employees that are struggling to pay off student loans, and what we're looking at here is not a small increase. It is a doubling of the interest rate right now when money is at an all-time low as far as an expense. This is something we need to correct. The future of the United States depends on people getting educated.
You know, you say well-managed and government. I just get all confused. It's hard for me to manage those two things happening.
Right.
Chris, what do you say?
Yeah, I was going to say that's the true definition of an oxymoron, something well managed by government. And this is really predictable. You can see it coming. You've got Congress that's going to play cat and mouse with this. They're going to kick the can down the road. Even if they do pass something, it'll probably just be a delay for a month or two. And it's not as if the rates are going to go up. They're going to protect that from happening. The question is, do they actually do something to solve it, or do they just put it off for a few years? I mean, the fact is, this is a perfect illustration of, again, why government shouldn't be involved in issues like this. Government is getting too big. It's spending too much. There's way too much that we are promising that we cannot live up to, and this is going to force us to continue to borrow against the debt over and over again until the people that we're giving these student loans to are going to pay way more down the road to paying off the debt that their loans are being financed with. Yeah,
we lend more, and then the schools, they increase their tuition and their rates more. It's a vicious cycle. Let's talk about Apple for a second. Apple CEO Tim Cook giving up $75 million worth of dividends on restricted stock and handing it all over to his employees. Apple workers are getting roughly $265 per quarter for each restricted stock unit they hold. Alex, what do you say?
You know, I think this bodes very well for Apple. Tim Cook has run the company for about a year. The stock has gone from 300 to up over 600 to the mid-600s. It has done very, very well. He's run the company, and I think that the future of Apple is strong with leadership like this. By the way, Tim Cook's not hurting. He's one of the highest-paid executives in the United States, makes over $300 million a year. So it's not like he's giving away everything he makes. But this really does, you know, this is an altruistic, honorable move. He doesn't need the money. He's giving it to the employees for the great job they've done.
Hadley.
Yeah, it's a tough time, and this seems like a great boss to have. I hope bosses can take notice and see, you know, ways that they can reward their hardworking workers. And if that's what he's doing, then bravo.
Chris.
Well, I just know when I get home, I'm going to have all my employees calling and wanting to know what I'm going to do with our profits after the end of the year. This is a really horrible precedent for him to set for those of us who run businesses in the United States, I have to say. Now, it's a great move, and I think you can look at Apple as a company that really is at the top of the list when it comes to corporate citizenship, and they continue to illustrate that year after year.
All right, we got yet another story here. Hold on to your napkins, folks. There's finally a cure to the age-old ketchup problem. This is an important story, guys. How do you get the last little drop out of the bottle? Well, a world-changing invention by an MIT professor called Liquid Glide will allow your ketchup to slide right out. On top of that, the slick coating is made of FDA-approved food materials. At least that's what they're telling us. Alex? What do you think?
Like, are the tenured professors really proud of this invention coming from MIT? You know, this is a school who's had amazing patents and inventions and moving forward in technology, and now they've solved the age-old problem of ketchup in a ketchup bottle?
Well, yeah, Hadley, Western civilization takes a step forward today. What do you say?
I think this is great. Necessity is the mother of invention. Clearly somebody really needed to get to the bottom of the ketchup bottle. But seriously, you know, I love capitalism. I love free markets. This is efficiency at work. You've got to get every drop out so you can buy fewer bottles.
Well, Chris, I'm a little worried about what they mixed in there to make that happen. Do you know? I don't know.
You know, we spend so much time talking about how government can't do anything right. Now we have with scientists solving one of the most vexing problems of our time. I got to tell you how happy my kids are going to be, and not to mention how many white shirts can be saved from pounding on the bottom of ketchup bottles and not going all over you. I just think the only question is how long it takes before Barack Obama comes forward and takes credit for it.
You know, why does nobody ever talk about mayo, getting all the mayo out of the jar? Because that's important to people, too. All right, Chris, Hadley, and Alex, thanks so much for coming on tonight. You guys did a great job. Lots of stuff to get through. Appreciate your patience. Okay.